One interesting little anecdote is that sitting in the waiting room at Amblin the day that I had to go in and read for Stephen and Kathleen Kennedy and all of them was Corey Haim. And that was the first time we met unofficially. And he was reading for the part of Mouth, which he did not get, obviously.
Oh, it's very exciting, Joel started. I have this beautiful cast. Oh my God, so many great actors all together. We have Jason Patrick, who's just gorgeous, and the just great Diane Wiest, and she's amazing, and Jamie Gertz, who's just this fabulously talented little actress. And all of this fresh, new, young talent. Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. Wait, what? I blurted out. Joel waved me off. I hadn't met this Corey Haim character, but I'd been hearing about him for months. He had auditioned for Mouth, my role in The Goonies. He had won the role of Lucas, a job I had auditioned for and hoped would be my breakout role. Just a few weeks earlier, he'd even moved in on my would-be girlfriend. There was clearly a new Corey in town, and he was starting to become a pain in my ass.
This other kid named Corey was also going to be in the movie. And I'd been hearing rumors about this kid floating around Hollywood. As a matter of fact, we were both up for Lucas and we were both up for Goonies. He was up for my part in Goonies and I was up for his part in Lucas. So it was a fair game by this point. You know, it was 0-0.
With License to Drive, we were both up for Les, and they came to me at a certain point and said, you know what, we're not going to give you the part of Les. We're thinking about giving it to Corey Haim. And I was like, you know?
Haim had snatched the lead.
I mean, I'm tired of this little bitch coming in and taking all my roles. It was not like, hey, here we go again, the two Coreys, let's go make a movie. It wasn't like that at all.
And we met on the set. We met on the set.
We met on the Lost Boys
set. Or I'm sorry, not on the set. We met, one day he called up my answering machine.
On the telephone?
And said, hey dude, this is Corey Haim, man.
Hey dude, this is Corey Haim.
Hey boy, talking about on the telephone.
He's like, you know, hey man, we're gonna be doing this movie together, so like let's hang out, dude. It'd be really cool, man. Let's hang out. Let's get to know each other. So like let's hang out, dude. It'd be really cool, man. Let's hang out. Let's get to know each other.
We're we're gonna be hanging out together, and we're gonna be doing this movie called Lost Boys, man. So we should like get together and chill, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we got together, actually with our dads. We decided to meet and go to the beach together. And we went down to Venice Beach and we played a little football. We ended up meeting in the exact same place that we shot our last scene together ever. Right there at Paradise Cove. Standing there in the parking lot at Venice Beach. We went down to Venice Beach forever.
I am very long-winded at times.
No shit.
No shit, Jet. No shit.
Once I start talking, it's kind of like opening a can of worms, and it just keeps kind of, spewing out. So the same goes for my writing. Once I get on something, I want to vividly color that canvas, and I want to put so much detail into it. I felt like many times I felt myself going, okay, stop. We got to stop now because we've got to leave room for the next thing. It was clear to me, even then, on the first day that we met, that something had been done to him. Right there at Paradise Cove. It's not actually Paradise Cove, but it's the next one, and I don't know what the name of it is, but
it happened.
And then it
exactly
happened.
that way.
That's where we met.
Venice Beach.
Paradise Cove.
And he was reading for the part of Mouth.
Were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or are you not, in fact, a chronic and habitual liar?
It's not actually Paradise Cove, but it's the next one.
Officially.
You need to quit lying.
You've been very consistent about...
Yeah.
Consistent.
My ass.
We met on the set. We met on the set. We met on the set.
Correct.
I believe so, yeah. That's where they met.
We met on The Lost Boys, we have a chemistry with each other on screen.
Now let me break it down. You're like 14 years of age. We're shooting night scenes, so it's like you work from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. And when you get off of work, you don't go to bed right away, even if it's 6 in the morning. So there'd be like 55 people in the hotel room trying to unwind. Corey's like 14. Dude, let me in, man. Come on, dude, let me party with you guys.
Yeah, that was Corey with me, and I'm caught like knocking on the vampire, like these guys' doors, trying to party with, hang out with them.
Despite our budding friendship, HAIM and I didn't actually spend all that much time together during the filming of The Lost Boys. HAIM was able to move between the groups, probably because he was playing the younger brother of Jason Patrick. Some of the older cast members had turned one of the hotel rooms into a sort of makeshift vampire lair.
We were vampires. We would go to bed in the morning and get up at night, and we had blankets taped over our windows.
And blacking out the windows with aluminum foil.
Is Corey correct?
I don't know if this was some attempt at going method, but I didn't like the vibe in there.
Dude, let me in, man. Come on, dude, let me party with you guys.
But I didn't like the vibe in there.
This is where I relax.
This is where all the ladies...
If you'll notice, the windows are blocked out with tinfoil.
But I didn't like the vibe in there. I spent most of my time on that shoot alone. Okay. Stop. We gotta stop now, because we've got to leave room for the next thing. When he was 14 years old, the first day that we met,
On The Lost Boys set,
he told me the secret. He told me he allowed himself to be sodomized.
Hello.
He told me when he was 14 years old, the first day that we
met on The Lost Boys set.
I guess we should probably play around like that too, right?
Grow up.
Is that true?
That is true. Yes, everything that's in that book is 100% true and accurate.
Stick with me because it gets real complicated. There's still time to call the church and call all this off. Remember this face.
I have had to hold on to that secret for 35 years.
But now, in his new tell-all autobiography, Corey Feldman reveals that he
told the public, as it were, I said, I am going to write a book and I am going to tell the truth. I am going to speak out and I am going to say everything that I can to the best of my ability. I did not let you down. I did let you down. I did not lie to you. I did lie to you. Unfortunately, as we all have our own legal ramifications, there are certain things that the publisher's lawyers would not allow to be left in. This is murky water, folks. He asked me to say it for him. That's what I'm doing. I have had to hold on to that secret for 35 years. I've been through some very difficult times this week in New York, promoting my new book, promoting my new album, and it's been very emotional. It's been a roller coaster because there's a lot of adversity. There's a lot of people trying to silence me right now because they don't want me to speak the truth, but it's out there.
Sound like some bullshit to me.
Everyone sees right through you.
Okay. Let's talk about your book.
Choreography.
It's out there. It's out there. It's out there. Yeah. I know what I'm going through right now, just all the ridicule that I'm dealing with.
Loony.
What kind of ridicule are you? I mean, you just telling your life, man.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, they got me twisted to the 19th millionth power.
Yeah.
Corey Haim's mom has been coming out against me, saying that I'm making up lies. Even though all this stuff is public record, Corey himself said it on the first episode of the second season, 2 Corey's. He said, I was molested.
By the guy you used to hang out with and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I was molested. Let me tell you. I'm making up lies. Corey himself said it. I was molested.
By the guy you used to hang out with. Take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Like, what? Really? Yeah. Okay, then she's trying to say because I said, he made some advances towards me when we were kids.
Yeah.
Look at my dick, dude. It's like rock hard right now. He didn't know what was right from wrong. You can't go and persecute him for that. That is not okay. You know what I mean? But she's saying that I'm saying that he's gay. When did I say he was gay? No, man, I'm not gay, okay? This is just what guys do. It's totally normal. Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just touch each other or something? Why don't we just mess around, man? I mean, like, we're both right here. Look at my dick, dude. It's like rock hard right now.
This is bullshit.
I'm saying this is the way it happened because he was twisted. But the bottom line, whose responsibility is it? Is it my responsibility as his best friend? Finish telling my story. Reveal that Dominic was in fact my best friend. My best friend.
Dominic Brascia.
Raped me. What'd you do? You knew about it. Besides being his
best friend.
Best friend. What'd you do? What'd you do? All is what you did, man.
No, he shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. All I'm trying to do is vindicate him. Every time I had seen Tony Burnham at one of Ralphie's parties, he would be on and on about Corey Haim, about how good-looking Haim was, and how much he wanted to meet him. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about the fact that Tony was an adult and Haim was a minor. I was thinking that I would do just about anything to get Haim to shut up and to stop him from hitting on me.
No, but hold on. Okay, so it's a molester, but we're not... Haim was, more than likely, this is a consensual thing with Dominic.
It was consensual, but he was still a child.
Right, and Dominic is like 35.
Right.
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 You were one of the first people that I had ever heard of who got emancipated. At 15?
Yeah. I'll have to continue staying at
Dominic Brascia,
since he seemed like a responsible guardian, at least in the eyes of the court. By the time I arrived at the courthouse on the day of the hearing, I had my regular cast of crazies in tow. John Grissom and Dominic were there.
And I heard you name names.
Originally, I did,
and
yeah.
then your book publisher took the names out because of the statute of limitations or
Well,
something.
it's legality. See, everybody wants to put the blame on me. Why aren't you putting the names out there? Why are you protecting them? I'm not protecting nobody. You guys need to know what's up.
How
like,
old,
that's
how
not
old
the
were
case.
you?
Okay?
You lying ass bitch.
Would they dope you up, get you high or drunk, and then have
That's
their way
the name
with
of
you?
the game.
Oh
That's
my
the name of the
God.
game. Hey.
What the hell is wrong with you? Really, man?
No, he shouldn't have been in that situation. No.
Dad, Goonies never say die.
One of the big prominent points of this book, of this story, and telling it properly, is the fact that it really was my doing. I have had to hold on to that secret for 35 years.
It sucks that what Feldman wants to do with this documentary is something he just wanted to do with Corey Haim, which was tell him it's not his fault. And I really believe that one of the major goals of this is for the world to understand that.
All I'm trying to do is vindicate him. That's what I'm doing.
Everything that Feldman is doing is him covering up some sort of crime. So it seems there's a group, this whole group of people are a bunch of rapists, okay? We're just going to put it like that. And that's not surprising because back in that time, that was the thing to do, is go out and rape people, right?
That's the name of the game.
Is go out and rape people, right? So, but the problem with these guys is that they like to drug people and do these crimes.
He would say, listen, the stuff in the glasses with the little print on, yes, well, those are water. And I'm like, well, why are you giving us water? He goes, no, this is, you know, we're most of it, we're going to drink water. Everybody else is going to drink Everclear. And I said, but that's manipulative. And he's like, well, you know.
What do you guys say we watch another video, huh, Corey? I don't like Ron Jeremy. You don't let Ron Jeremy come to your parties, do you? Yeah, does Ron Jeremy
come to my party.
Oh, damn. It's a Ron Jeremy party. I'm going to have to take the
No. He's banned. He's banned. He's banned.
Oh!
He's a nice guy, but he creeps the girls out, I'll be honest.
Really?
Creeps the girls out.
Whoa! What, he creeps the chicks out? Go figure.
Dude.
He held a screening in Los Angeles at the Directors Guild of America. Last night, he invited a bunch of people there.
They were all there. It was a packed industry. I mean, we had director Joe Dante, we had Chris Kattan, we had Rosanna Arquette, Matthew Modine. I mean, huge names all over the place. Dave Navarro, everybody was there. Even Ron Jeremy.
And now Corey Feldman says he is sharing part of it in the biopic, A Tale of Two Coreys, but he claims there's much more that he is holding back.
That's very true.
How watered down is this version?
It's very watered down. It does veer you from the truth.
So you know the names of the men who you say abused Corey Haim, your friend. Your friend. That you witnessed them walking into a room and Corey then telling you what happened.
And also Corey telling me beforehand, hey, this happened to me. This is what happened to me when I was 13 years old. And this is why I am the way I am. Look at my dick, dude. It's like rock hard right now. I'm saying this is the way it happened because he was twisted. That needs to be told. That person who did that damage to him and raped him,
the guy you used to hang out with,
needs to be exposed.
Will you profit from this film?
I mean, hopefully, if I'm lucky, I deserve to, don't I? Don't I?
Dominic passed away in 2018.
So we tried in the book, then we tried again when we put out a Lifetime movie of the week called A Tale of Two Coreys, and again. Oh, no. We got to change this, we got to change that, we want to throw them off the track.
Corey Feldman once again opening up about the dark side of the spotlight. In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles who he claims abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who's still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
There's the truth and
the truth.
I propose to do this by making a film that'll be the most honest and true depiction of child abuse ever portrayed, by telling my own story in a very real way.
In all fairness, though, we've been down this road before with you, and you have promised in the past to name names.
Never. All I'm trying to do is vindicate him. In fact, I know of a friend of mine.
The guy you used to hang out with.
Same guy. Went and spoke to a reporter and gave all the information, and they were, the day before I launched my campaign, they were supposed to put out a story in the Inquirer, and they came to me for a comment, and I said, no comment. Let them tell their story.
Charlie Sheen is suing the National Enquirer over the sex story that they ran about him a few months back. The key person in that is someone named Dominic Brascia.
And they've used some pretty intense language to describe Charlie in this article. They called him a twisted child molester. They called him a ruthless adult rapist as well. So there's no innocent until proven guilty in this article. And they also used the testimony of a guy named Dominic Brascia. However, here's the twist. Brascia has actually been accused of molesting Corey Haim himself about a year ago. Yes, which he has flat out denied.
I hear Corey Haim's mom says that she doesn't think that this happened.
Corey Haim's mom came out, sat down with Dr. Oz and said she does not believe any of it. She did name an adult man who she believes molested her son. It was bleeped out. And it wasn't Charlie.
When my son was 13, he's not going to go and ask Charlie Sheen to go and sleep with him. I have to tell you that this guy,
Dominic
Brascia,
is the guy that abused my son.
Dominic
Brascia.
Hey, how you doing? Dominic Brascia. First of all, if you don't know who I am, what's wrong with you? I'm famous!
This is not new. This is something that has been alleged before. Charlie Sheen has denied it in the past. One of the other people that was named that officially wasn't named before was Dominic Brascia. Brascia, sorry. He's an actor, and Dominic had also given those details about Charlie Sheen before Dominic passed away in 2018. So he is also named Charlie Sheen.
All right, we learned, or at least I learned nothing new. Corey accused Charlie Sheen of raping Corey Haim. I heard this before years ago, you all. So for me personally, as a gossipnista or whatever, I wasn't shocked. I wanted to hear something different. Now, maybe you're shocked at that, but don't you remember?
To describe Charlie in this article, they called him a twisted child molester. There's no innocent until proven guilty in this article. Used the testimony of a guy named Dominic
Brascia.
Just forget it!
Sorry.
Charlie Sheen has denied all of this. And the National Enquirer then followed up by writing about it.
Yeah.
I remember the article. I wasn't shocked by any of this. Corey Feldman.
One of the other people that was named that officially wasn't named before was Dominic Brascia, sorry.
Dominic Brascia wasn't named before.
And the big name that everyone's talking about is Charlie Sheen.
So that was the big name that he said he was about to drop that everybody would know.
He said Charlie Sheen raped him. That's what he told me.
During the interview, he's like, tears are running down his face. But not once did he wipe the tears from his face. And I know that may sound dumb, but Investigators explained it in a way I never thought of. He let the tears run down his face, and most people would go and like wipe the tears. Like it's just a reaction. You really have to think about it. Like, don't wipe the tears, let it drip. Especially if you're on TV, like you're already insecure that you have camera on you, there's lights, someone's interviewing you, like you're already feeling kind of insecure. So most people would wipe their tears away, but Scott just let the tears stream down his face. It just felt like he wanted his tears to be seen.
He went into great detail. He told me Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt.
Color that.
And raped me. In broad daylight.
So much detail. And
anybody could have walked by. Anybody could have seen it.
He wanted his tears to be seen.
I know there's rumors about, you know, I'm sure we'll get to the abuse question at some point, but we know that my brother was abused by somebody, and we do know who that person is.
Right.
And that was that person, Dominic, whose last name is escaping me, but we'll come back. Brasher. And he passed away a couple of years ago. We know that it's him. Like it was my mom walked in on a situation, right? And then this is all public knowledge already. We know all this. My mom has spoken about it openly. And I know because not recently, obviously, I spoke to my brother about it. We know this. People want to believe that it was something that happened on Lucas. It wasn't. Like I was on the set of Lucas every day for the entire shoot.
We may as well address it now. We're talking about the Charlie Sheen allegation, and you were there, and like
I was there.
Charlie Sheen has just found himself on the list of Hollywood stars accused of rape. The reports come from
Dominic
Brasher and
from the National Enquirer. The story also mirrors the shocking tale by HAIM's friend Corey Feldman, who wrote in his tell-all memoir that at some point during the filming of Lucas, an adult male convinced HAIM it was perfectly normal for older and younger boys in the business to have sexual relations. So they walked off to a secluded area between two trailers during a lunch break. But Feldman never named Sheen in his book. However, a former child actor,
Dominic
Brasher,
backs those claims and adds that HAIM and the Wall Street star actually had sex again.
We may as well address it now. We're talking about the Charlie Sheen allegation, and you were there, and like you
was
were
there.
And
I
I mean,
was
to
there.
me, that's absolutely ludicrous to even think that. I mean, when it's been said what actually happened, just believe the actual facts.
Do a little bit of research.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you used to hang out with, and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it. Besides being his best friend, what'd you do? What'd you do?
Nothing.
All is what you did, man.
You say you talked about everything. He confided in you that he was raped when he was 11 years old.
Correct.
My journey began 30 years ago. 30 years ago, when I first told the police about what happened to me as a child. 30 years ago, when I first told the police that my best friend was raped as a child and had never gotten his life back. And because of that, as a result of that, his life was tarnished and traumatized to the point where he ended up taking his own life. I don't lie.
This morning, Feldman's latest proclamation drawing criticism from HAIM's mother, Judy, who tells NBC News she wants her son's name left out of it, saying, quote, if he finally decides to release names and tell the world who they are, for the sake of more victims, I'll be 100% behind him. But if he's waiting to release the names in the movie, I don't support that. He doesn't need $10 million to do it.
That's Corey Haim's mother, Judy.
Get him, Mama Haim. She's right. She's absolutely 100% right. Because it's also her son's fucking history, his abuse that Corey is fucking
covering up.
Well, not only covering up, but using now.
Yes.
You think
to make $10 million? Who needs $10 million to stop a pedophile who he admitted again with his own words is still active? You're a piece of shit, dude.
You're actually.
You may be worse.
You might be worse. You might be worse.
We raised like I don't know, $250,000 or something. And then Judy HAIM happened. And she goes out there and she starts trying to tell everybody that I'm lying and that it's all a fraud and I'm making it up for my own good and I'm just trying to scam people for money. All this crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
So people started listening to her and everything went the other way. And all of a sudden the campaign started losing. And so we just basically were like, well, screw it. It's not going to happen that way. You know, retrack, rethink how we get this out.
I call it.
Right, pivot, exactly. So at that point, I decided, you know what? I'll find a way to get the truth out by making a documentary. It'll be much cheaper. It'll be much smaller. But we're going to get the facts out,
and people
no matter
love
what.
Corey Haim's mother, Judy, is saying this is absolutely not true. What does Feldman have to say?
Feldman is being quite rude to Judy. If you listen to his interviews, he made his own YouTube video where he called her a liar, challenged her to a lie detector test.
Judy, you know that you're lying. And if you don't know you're lying, then you're in the deepest form of denial that I've ever seen. But something's not right about it. I don't know what is driving you to do this. And I have empathy for the fact that you've suffered great pain, as I have. But to turn around and to try and discredit me or say that I'm doing this for the wrong reasons is disgusting. And I want to say that I'm throwing this out there one time. I am willing at any time, at any point, to do matching lie detector tests with you. I'm willing to go toe-to-toe and break down any point of the story, anything that I've said in my book, anything that I've said during this campaign, anything I've said to the police. Let's go. 2 lie detector tests, face-to-face. I'll do it anytime.
You saw his tweet, I'm assuming. He wrote this. This is when you called him a scam artist, before he had done the interviews. He said, you guys know I don't ever say anything bad about anyone, but Judy HAIM, brackets, no longer her last name, is a bad woman who vehemently protects evil. She has been creating distractions and diversions since her son's death to shun away the feelings of true guilt she must bear. Hashtag blasphemy. What was your reaction to that?
So I looked at it and I said, number one, who's protecting evil?
Right.
Is it me or is it him for all these years?
What happened to Corey Haim? He told me the story. It's not my place to go out and name the name of his abuser because it didn't happen to me.
But you seem to be saying if you get the $10 million and make the movie, you will do that.
I still can't say what I didn't see.
Number one, he has no business talking about my kid. And number two, I don't understand these people that kept giving him money at Indiegogo because he says that one day he's going to expose my son's pedophile.
He's actually had some recent history of hosting Kickstarter campaigns and practically begging people to send him money.
He needed millions of dollars. He was begging people for money. He's been begging people for money to make an album a year ago. He begs people for money to make this documentary. And then he name drops Charlie Sheen, okay?
Well, how about Dr. Oz asking him, and how come nobody's ever mentioning Dominic? Why isn't anyone ever mentioning Dominic? It's like as if my son and I said nothing.
Abused my son.
You've been trying to tell your story, but you've had a very hard time doing it. Explain what's happened.
Well, it's been a long process, so this has been going on for quite some time. It started when I wrote my book. Well, it actually started before that when it was brought up as a topic on the Two Corys TV show.
What'd you do? You knew about it, besides being his best friend. What'd you do? What'd you do?
Nothing.
I think at the time when the original Two Corys was out, the show itself, I think John got wind of that whole thing, and I think that's when the spin started happening with the Sheen thing. It appears that happened at the time of that show, so I think, they caught wind of that and they're like, well, it's going on air, so, we're gonna pretend that was Sheen that he's talking about, which obviously it wasn't, because it was a friend of Feldman's. That was pretty clear.
What'd you do? You knew about it, besides being his best friend.
Basically, about the last sort of decade of my brother's life, they weren't friends. Right. They occasionally did work together. They did that Two Corys reality show. They did that, and even if they did a publicity thing, people need to work.
Pictures of you two guys, do you mind? Could you get you all together? Corey, could we get you two guys together, please? Yeah, sure. It's good to see you. Long time no see, Corey. Yeah, how you doing? Thank you. Wait, one or two more, please. Corey. Hold it. One more, guys. The two Corey. Wait, one last one. One last one. That's enough. One last one.
People need to work, right? And so even when they did sort of work together in that last decade, I wouldn't consider them friends. Like, friends are people that you call them up and you go out socially and your families get together and you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I knew Corey Feldman when we were teenagers and whatever, but they weren't really friends for the last decade or so. And people don't like that, which I get.
They want to believe that they were best friends forever.
Which I get. Like, I understand that, because like if I was, you know, when I was a kid, like a teenager, and I was like a big fan of, I don't know, soap operas or whatever, and I'd want to believe that the husband and wife in that soap opera were together. You know, I wanted to believe that. And then I find out later that they hated each other.
They did not like each other at all. They were in odds with each other for a very long time.
And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, they belong together, right?
Yeah.
And I think people just really want to believe that they were best friends and they were when they were kids.
Right.
So
you grow up and you don't have the same best friends that you have when you
so
were
I think my brother always had like a feeling of nostalgia towards him, and you know, because when you think back on a friend that you had a long time ago, you think back on them, you're like, oh, that was a nice time, but people move on, right? So unfortunately, when my brother died 10 years ago, a lot of things were coming out, and Corey Feldman was talking quite a little bit about my brother, and he has his own reasons for doing that and saying what he says. I don't know what they are. Just because we want it to be true doesn't make it true. So I'm telling you, like, as a first-degree relative of Corey HAIM, a lot of the things that were said weren't true.
It's not really until HAIM is gone that the enormous amounts of bullshit started. This whole thing, somebody passed them a HAIM around and shared. That's all nonsense and bullshit. Never happened. The heavy duty stuff really happens when HAIM passed away. So here we go.
Yes.
Let's get into
it. He passes away, you know, early in the morning, March 10th.
1980s child star Corey HAIM dead at a hospital in California from what police quickly called a possible drug overdose.
And I got up in the morning, I hear about it. I had something to do that morning. And I went over to their apartment, probably 12:30-ish. And Feldman had already been there, you know. Or actually, no, the first day I got there first.
Yeah.
I stayed for a little while. Corey's father hadn't even gotten there yet from Toronto. So I left. I'll be back tomorrow. So I come back the next day, which was Friday. And there's about 4 or 5 people in the apartment beside Bernie and Judy. And they are hot. I mean, they're steaming hot. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what happened? You know, that's going through my head. Bernie pulls me outside to the little patio, and he proceeds to tell me about an hour and 20 minutes before I got there, Corey Feldman showed up and offered the family $250,000 to shoot the funeral in Toronto so they can edit it back into season 2 of Corey. They can get a replay on TV, and they can get some royalties from the DVD sales.
I did not know that.
I've heard this story.
So what happened?
Wow.
This is your best friend in the world.
Yeah.
He hasn't even gone from the coroner's office and left the building. And somebody is already thinking about money. Okay.
Wow.
And it's really, really hard and sad to know that, like, never again can we create that magic together, because, you know, it was always the fallback. You know, if you're going through a career slouch, call up Corey, we'll come up with an idea and we'll do something together and, you know, get everybody all excited all over again. So it's really sad to know that that possibility is gone.
Now, again, I get it. They had met a couple of weeks earlier. They were discussing something that HAIM had actually written an outline for License to Fly. Kind of like a sequel to License to Drive.
To turn that into a trilogy, because he had a really great idea, and he actually took the time to write a 30-page treatment, and we were en route to try and set that up at 20th Century Fox and turn that into the next franchise, but that'll never happen either.
And they were discussing it, and I guess at that point, then they had a lunch or a dinner. They met up. They were talking about the script, whatever.
And then
HAIM passes away. So there was money that went into the box with him. Feldman lost a lot of money right there. A lot of money.
It's really sad to know that that possibility is gone.
Right. And there was also some talk of another series of some kind, another reality-based series of some kind. That's all gone. What's he going to do? So this is what he came up with. This is what he offered the family. $250,000 to shoot the funeral and edit it back into season 2 of Corey. They can get a replay on TV, and they can get some royalties from DVD sales. They, of course, were livid, beyond livid. They were in shock livid.
Yeah.
And they told him to get out.
He goes on TV and he says, "Oh yeah, my partner, my best friend, my lifelong friend. You know, I promised him that I'm going to tell his life story." And I'm thinking, you know what, buddy? At this point, Mister, I want you to prove to me that my son did it because you're so full of crap.
I will tell the truth. I will get on a lie detector test right now.
I'll help you. All right.
Why were you the one that had to tell this story?
It's a good question, Danny.
He asked me to tell his story, okay? And I told him I don't think I can do that. It's your story to tell. You tell your story, I'll tell mine. Well, he said, well, okay, if I die before you do, I expect you to do that for me as my best friend.
And deception was indicated.
That aside, I feel good about it because at the end of the day, you can point a finger at me, you can burn me at the stake, you can call me a liar.
Corey Feldman's full of shit.
That's the truth.
Look.
Whatever.
He's a pathological liar. He just makes shit up.
There's this kind of new distance between us. And while we're in the car, of course, leave it to Corey to give me that super uncomfortable moment. We're already uncomfortable, and you could break the tension with, an ice pick. And he goes, "Can me and my mom stop by can we all have dinner tonight? Let's just have one nice dinner together."
Why was it so uncomfortable? Why is he being like, of course it was uncomfortable, and then Corey has to hit me with this thing of like
let's
hey,
have
can we hey, can we have a nice dinner?
Yeah, what's the logic behind this story?
It's because these guys were not friends, and Corey Feldman has to pretend that they were best friends the whole time when they weren't.
And from the chat, Boat Knight says, is Jim trying to say Corey Haim is the more interesting story? No, Corey Feldman is saying Corey Haim is the more interesting story.
Yeah, it's Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
He's been dragging his, quote, best friend's body through the mud for 10 years now.
His mom is just like, please let him rest.
It was very amicable. It was.
And listen to this. Listen to this. This is the fakest story ever.
It was a friendly get together. Later that evening, when they were gone, my husband at the time came and told me that the two of them, him and Corey Haim, had this conversation, and they had, discussed filming a third season.
Wait. What was I telling you? Wait, it was really important.
Season 2 of the Corey's Lost Boys, he talked trash to the media. He was high about it. The diner scene.
The diner scene. Okay, so we hadn't talked for a while, and then we do this diner scene, and he's like blowing up on me and like...
You let me get around in my life, man. Raped, so to speak. When I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you used to hang out with, and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it. Besides being his best friend. What'd you do? What'd you do? All is what you did, man.
Trying to throw everything in my face, and I'm like, what are you doing right now? Because we had a contract, and the contract said we weren't going to talk about...
The guy you used to hang out with?
The molestation. That was a taboo. That was a no boundary, don't do it thing.
Your molestation or his?
His, both.
Okay.
So nothing to do with sex, and he was like, me too, nothing to do with sex. So that means no molestations, no anything. We agreed on that. So that was the look of shock on my face when he goes, what about the time when you let me get
raped by the guy you used to hang out with?
Got
and
it.
I'm like,
because it wasn't. So that's real, because that was in the Tale of Two Corys. They were talking about that, and you're like, and he brought that up.
Right.
He's like, you let it happen.
Right.
And you're like, I was being molested too. And he's like, yeah.
Exactly. But here's the truth of the matter. Even though we had this riff, and even though, and that all went to what his mindset really was about all of this, which he finally revealed to me in our, last conversation before we took the year break, which was when he came over to my house with his mom and my ex-wife, and we all had kind of this peaceful dinner. And it was at that point that he let the cat out of the bag and said to me, I did it all for ratings.
Man, raped by the guy you used to hang out with.
All for ratings.
Take responsibility.
And you know what? He asked me to take responsibility for that on the show, and I did. I didn't do it then. I wasn't ready to. I did somewhat, but not really. But I can now. I didn't do it then. I wasn't ready to, but I can now. And the only way I can now is by, it's like, look, scars out. You know what I mean?
Corey, you're opening up to the world about me having a knife in my pocket. And the reason I wear this, man, is like to cover up some scars I have, because like I used to cut into myself, because it's a way to feel, I hear. And like mentioning that, you just rip the envelope, man. I'll go you one better. You let me get around in my life, man. Raped, so to speak.
I'm going to talk about your stuff. I got to talk about my stuff. Let's clear the air.
All I'm trying to do is vindicate him.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
All for ratings. And I'm like, what are you, Andy Kaufman? Like, what do you mean you did it
I
all
love
for
that
ratings?
reference, yeah.
Yeah, but what?
That is so stupid.
I said, well, that's ridiculous.
That's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard.
What are you, crazy?
It's crazy.
So what is that? So what did you say to him?
I said, you're crazy. And he goes, look, I told you I was going to get a third season, man. I'm getting us a third season. I told you I'd get a second season. I got the second season. Now I'm going to get a third.
Did you respect it in any way?
A third season.
It's a third season. Third season.
He's full of shit.
I don't lie. I'm a man of integrity, and I'm a man of my word. And I don't lie no matter what. That is my code of honor. Rigorous honesty.
I said, I don't want a third. I want this to be over. I want you to get the help you need.
Nope.
And I guess
you were
HAIM
demanding
said to
a
him,
third.
if something happens to me, I want you to tell my story.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
Corey,
Listen to this. Listen to this bullshit of how Corey Haim made Corey Feldman promise, like, hey, if I die or whatever, you have to tell my story.
Why did it take him 10 years?
Well, because
it was only recently that he decided to tell the story.
I'm not going to tell your story. You're here. You tell your story. Write a book.
Corey, go to them.
I love how in Corey, Feldman's version of it, it's always like, nah, of course not. You're alive. Like he always has to be the good guy, even in
You're
the
the
story.
man, bro. What
are you gonna die or something? Why are you asking me to do this?
And he goes, can't do it. I can't do it. Why not? So I just can't do it, man. I'm afraid. All right? Maybe I don't have the balls you do. I don't know. I just can't do it. I said, I'll tell you what I'll tell you. You've got a year right now.
Well, yeah, see, that's important because Corey Haim even told Corey Feldman in this fake story, he's like, I don't know, man. You got these big balls. You're just so strong, way stronger than I am.
I don't have the cojones.
Large balls, fuck.
I said, and he goes, but he says, but I'll tell you what I'll tell you. You've got a year right now to get your life together. And if during that year you can mature enough to get yourself healthy, then you're going to have the strength to tell the story yourself. And you'll still be here in a year. So he goes, okay. And if I'm not, I said, fine. If you're not, and you really die for some reason, then I will tell your story.
Begrudgingly, I will
promise.
And he's like, well, fine,
I promise.
Fine, I
What
promise.
that's the fakest story I've ever heard.
Promise me.
Such horse shit.
So it was like, okay, fine, I promise. And I didn't really think he was ever going to actually need to call in that favor. But it happened.
And then it
exactly
happened.
that way.
How convenient.
Yeah.
Did your mind immediately go to that once you heard that he died?
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, my God, I made that promise.
This motherfucker's life.
Corey Feldman sent me an email this year saying like this, and we did go to his house after the show was done because my son wanted to go and buy his son Zen a toy. So we went over there, and he said like this, and this was right after the second season. And he said, Corey asked me to tell his story. The night you guys came over to the house and Susie made you dinner, and after the show, we all made up. He asked me to do it because he lived his life in fear. And he said, tell my whole story and why I am the way I am. And I just kept reading it, and I'm going, he claims, yeah, I remember going to his house. I was there. His assistant, Dre, happened to be there.
Dre, my head of security.
Yo, Dre!
What's up?
I was there tonight when he went over there. Corey Haim never mentioned, I know my recollection, that he wanted Corey to do his life story. Why would a man tell another man, do my life story if I die?
I mean, I believe he said that he took him alone, and that's when all this happened. You never witnessed that.
He took him along my ass. He never took Corey in a room and it was with Corey to say, oh man, if I die, man, just make you do my story. Why? So you can destroy this man's legacy?
My son was not stupid. After all of this chaos and hating Feldman and his wife at that point and everything else, yeah, he's going to go to his house and say, by the way, if I die, Corey, if I die before you know you got to tell my story, right?
You know, I just have to go my own way. So to get back to the negative people in my life that I'm dismissing out of my life, you know, Corey had to be the first to go.
Get the fuck out!
Do you understand your critics, though? Because so many women have come forward and told their stories without any security teams or without any legal
But those women,
defense in
half
place.
of them got paid off. I didn't get paid off. A lot of them took a deal to keep their mouths shut. They took a deal to go along with these forward advances so that they could help their careers. We never had that deal.
I don't think you're characterizing what they did correctly at all, with respect. I think they took a deal because they felt helpless, they didn't know what to do, and this is the only measure of justice they felt they could get.
I understand, but I wasn't awarded that opportunity. Neither was my partner. We never were given an opportunity to possibly get an upside for our victimization. We were
right now,
abused.
the upside is protecting other little boys
We were
right now.
abused.
I want to say something.
Jump in, Judy.
I want everybody to remember that my son, he was one of those people that if you look back at every single interview he's ever had since he started this business at 13 and a half, he told the whole world everything. He never hid anything. So he went on national TV on the reality show, and he actually exposed his own abuser, which was Corey Feldman's friend, Dominic Brasha. He exposed his own abuser without asking a penny. He didn't say, I want $10 million to make a movie to expose my abuser. So even after he did that, even I went on Dr. Oz and exposed the same guy. Dominic Brasha is one person that I know that my son ever talked about. There are no more abusers out there. I want people to understand that. There was one guy, my son really surprised him and shocked him on the reality show, saying, you introduced me to your friend who abused me, and you were friends with him before, and you continued being his friend afterwards, knowing what he did to me. Well, when my son passed away and Corey Feldman was ready to write his book, he told me on the phone that it's payback time.
What's the opening sentence?
Before there was light, there was me.
Chapter 1.
Go to chapter 1, minute 1. I want to know what he says. Do the beginning and do the end.
Buckle the fuck up.
Are you sitting down? Well, stand the fuck up. I said get the fuck up.
Are you standing up? Now sit the fuck down. That's
ready.
the kind of ride it's going to be, folks. Buckle in for 8 hours of nonsense.
Lay down upside down on the couch. Now drink a bunch of vodka. Welcome to a Tuesday.
I apologize earlier. You're going to hear me eat a lot during this.
They told me I couldn't break for lunch. All right, is this
apologize, guys. The next 2 chapters are going to be me getting down some pho.
So, yeah. Sorry if the sound sounds weird. I'm in a urinal. Chapters 3 and 4 did some damage.
Is it chapter 1 first thing? Yeah. Fire.
This is Audible.
All right. Dude. Is that the book?
That's them, yeah.
I'm on board.
Presents Choreography. Written and read by Corey Feldman.
I bet he's singing it while he's sitting there. He goes, you know, he's like off mic. They go, Corey, you gotta start talking. He goes, yeah, hold on.
Oh, let it dance for him a little bit. They're good.
You see him dancing? Oh, hey, didn't see you walk in there.
Oh, hey. What's up? Just holding this giant eagle
He was supposed to be at the dentist. Hey, dog, I got a problem with this tooth, man, he said when we spoke on the phone that Monday afternoon. It fell out again. Man, the soonest I can get an appointment is a week and a half away. He was plagued by problems with his teeth. Decades of drug abuse had rendered some of them loose, or rotten and decayed. But he didn't have health insurance, which is why I had started sending him to my personal dentist.
Oh, God, dude, is he immediately opening shitting on him?
Bagging on FanMade. Bagging on HAIM out of the gates, dude.
What the fuck?
Out of the gates, dude.
What the fuck?
The opening of his story is talking about how much HAIM was fucked up.
Absolute. What the fuck?
I was doing fantastic.
Oh, my God.
It's a beautiful day. Hamster's over. He's asking if he could suck my cock for a little cash.
Dude, keep playing as this fucking idiot. Oh, my God. What an arrogant...
He's wonderful.
Jesus. Just goes, how do you want to start the book? He goes, how about just a big old dump on the hamster?
Talk about his teeth.
How about a fat crap on the hamster?
Payback time.
Her son was raped. It's a fact. And we are going to prove not only that it happened, but that she had knowledge of it happening and has covered it up willfully. That will all be proven in the documentary. And that documentary is coming very, very soon.
So, the allegation specifically, you were, I guess, molested, you say, by an older man when you were a child, and Corey...
I was molested by 2 men.
2 men.
2 men molested me, and several men molested my best friend.
Payback time.
So I had to write a letter to the judge, and I had to write a letter to the government saying, you know, he's totally trustworthy because he had hit a kid, I'm sorry, not a kid, he hit a bus full of children while he was ODing one day and nodding out in a car, and he was like, he borrowed his friend's Mercedes and he smashed into the back of a bus, and after that, they just didn't want him in the country. So they pushed him out of the country, and he couldn't come back into America for a couple years.
Payback time.
Why don't we just touch each other or something? Why don't we just mess around, man? I mean, like, we're both right here. Look at my dick, dude. It's like rock hard right now.
I want people to understand, I said it again and again, they can believe whoever they want, you know, but the truth of the matter is if they do a little bit of research and everything else, they will understand. I'm saying it again. They were not best friends. They were not partners. They've done 7 movies together. I don't count Busted as one of them. And my son has done 33 or 35 movies with a lot of other people, and not just him. But he's lining his pockets with money on my son's back.
I deserve to, don't I? Don't I? All I can speak of is the things that happened to me directly, okay? Her son was raped. It's a fact. I can't speak for other people's experiences. My best friend, who was in fact raped. So in other words, what happened to Corey HAIM, he told me this story. So he goes, but I want you to promise me as my brother that you're going to tell this story. And I said, well, that's ridiculous. It's not my place to go out and name the name of his abuser because it didn't happen to me.
But you seem to be saying if you get the $10 million and make the movie, you will do that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
$1 million. So that you can hear for the first time the full truth about how my best friend was raped. And all I asked was
$10 million.
How much you gonna pay me?
That's right.
my personal journey, it's to finish telling my friend a story, to reveal that my friend, who was in fact raped when he was 12 years old, 13 years old, Corey was 11.
11. An 11-year-old child.
Are you stupid or something?
Correct.
He was 14 years old, the first day that we met.
Raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you still hang out with, and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility.
So scared to talk about it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
His rape and my emotional rape.
What a bunch of fucking bullshit.